that the Leela is moving in a cyclic way throughout every universe. So at some one of the Leelas of Krishna is taking place in every universe at a particular time, at any given time. It's always moving. So his birth Leela is taking place in one, then it's taking place in another, then and it's all moving like that, So it is always going on and that's the prakat, right? That was something that we discussed last week. Prakat and aprakat, that which is manifest, Leela, divine pastimes, and that which is aprakat, unmanifest. So the aprakat, that which is unmanifest to our worldly vision, that is always going on. Also within this, the Gokul in this plane, it is all that Leela is always continuing. But there's no question of that. But it is only that the manifest Leela, it is not always visible, on the surface. But if it is not going on here, it is going on at another place within this, worldly plane. Does that answer your question?
Yes, very nice. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay. And Steve is also with us. Welcome. Okay, then shall we go to the text? How shall we do it? Can you screen share, Suvasini Didi? I'm on a Russian laptop right now. I can't read anything. Everything's in Russian.
Okay, I can share the screen, and but I won't be able to see the people if they join, right? So that is.
You can't? Oh.
Well, I don't.
Let me see. I think I can do it. This is
I can make you a co-host then. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right then. So I'm a co-host now. So if you want to screen share, then I can admit people.
Right. Okay. Brahma Samhita.
We're missing Jayadev and Chintamani today. Krishna Keshav has joined us. Welcome.
Thank you. Dandavad.
Dandavad. Are you all right, Didi? You're finding how to do it?
Yeah, I'm just trying to find out. Yeah, I know the.
I think I can do it. I think you have it. Okay.
I'll see. This one, which one? This one, yeah.
Oh, okay, you got it. Okay. Can you zoom in a little bit so we can see more clearly?
Yeah, I don't know how do you do this.
Let me do it, Didi. I think I found out how to do it. I can do it. You can close.
Then you say, how do you close it? This one. Stop share. Stop share. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, you got it. Okay. I think I have it here. Okay. Let me see. I can zoom in. Okay. So we're beginning verse 4 today of Sri Brahma Samhita. Omajnana Tamidam Dasya Yananjana Shalakaya Chakshor Militanjena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Vanchakalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Tat Kinjalkam Tadam Shanam Tat Patrani Shriyam Api. Suvasini, do you want to read for us today? Start with the translation.
Yeah, sure. Yes. The core of that eternal holy abode, which is called Gokula, is the hexagonal land of Krishna's abode. The stamens or petals or the residences of the cowherds or gopas, who are Krishna's own, his dearmost friends and high loving devotees that are a part of his own self. Those abodes appear like many walls, all beautifully effulgent. The extensive foliage of that lotus constitutes the sub-forests that are the abodes of the loving damsels of Krishna, headed by Sri Radhika. Purport. The transcendental Gokula is in the form of a lotus flower. Its core is hexagonal. In the center is the predominated and predominating moiety, Sri Radha Krishna, who are the objective of the 18-syllable mantra. Their various subjective personal expansions, intimate serving associates of intrinsic divine potency, surround them. The seed is Radha Krishna. The Gopala Tapaniyopanishad states, Tasmad Omkara Sambhuto Gopala Vishvasambhavaha Klim Omkarasya Shaikatvam Patyate Brahma Vadibihi. Omkara means Gopala, who is both the potency and the potent, and Klim means Omkara. Therefore, Klim, or the primary desire seed, Kama Bija, expresses the transcendental reality of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna.
Okay, so we've come to the end of that verse. It's a short verse and a short purport. And so Omkar is referring to the divine vibration of Om, right? And also known as Klim in the Gayatri. Oh, we had somebody waiting there. Okay. And we were discussing this a few weeks ago in one of our meetings, that this, Om there are many different ways in which it is understood, but this is the highest connotation of this divine vibration. It is, as it is saying here, so beautifully expresses the transcendental reality of Sri Sri Radha Krishna. And this description of Krishna's divine abode is being given here. Okay, well, I don't think I have anything else to say on this. These are all quite high topics. Anyone else want to make any comment or question before we go on to the next verse? Suvasini, Didi, anything?
No, I don't have. Yeah.
Okay, we'll go on to verse 5. This is a long verse. Do you want to continue, Suvasini, Didi?
Sorry, I was muted. Chatur Ashram Tad Paritaha Svetadvipakyam Adbhutam Chatur Ashram Chatur Murtes Chatur Dhama Chatuskritam Chaturbhihi Purushataisha Chaturbir Hetubir Vritam Sulair Dashabir Anadham Urdadho Dig Vidikshvapi Ashtabir Nidhibir Jushtam Ashtabir Siddhibisthatha Manu Rupaisha Dasabir Dikpalaihi Paritovritam Shamair Gauraisha Raktaisha Shuklaisha Parshadarsha Baihi Shobitam Shakti Bistabir Adbhutabhihi Samantataha. Okay. So the translation, the area surrounding Gokula is being described. In the outer section of Gokula, there is a miraculous quadrangular area extending in 4 directions, known as Sweta Dvipa. It is divided into 4 sections on 4 sides. Each of these divisions are the residences of Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. So, surrounding this quadruple abode are the 4 aims of human life, or religiosity, gain, desire, and emancipation, dharma, artha, kama, moksha, with their respective inceptive causes, the 4 Vedas, Rig, Sama, Yajur, Atharva, and Atharva, which are mantra in constitution. 10 spheres are fixed in 8 directions: east, south, west, north, northeast, southeast, southwest, and northwest, above and below. The 8 directions are illumined by the 8 jewels known as Mahapadma, Padma, Shankha, Makara, Kachapa, Mukunda, Kunda, and Nila, representing the 8 perfections. All 10 directions are presided over by 10 gods in the form of mantras. The black, golden, red, and white associates of the Lord, and the miraculous potencies headed by Vimala are refulgent all around. Should I continue today? Somebody else want to read or to?
Sure. It's quite quite extraordinary what's being described here, isn't it?
Yes.
It's like all of these ideals in this world, they have some localized place here, and these 4 Vedas, these different goals: ordinary religiosity, mundane gain, wealth, desire, liberation, they have some localized place on the outskirts of Goloka. And these are all, you could also think of this all as like an obstacle course, right? And this idea is explored a little more in some of the later verses, that like if you're going to Goloka, these are the things you're going to face on the way. There's some filter system. You can't get through to that highest goal unless it's something that you very purely desire, right? Otherwise, along the way, you'll get distracted by this ideal and that ideal and this thing, this shiny thing and this glittering thing over here, But the pure objective is the pure loving service of Krishna in Vrindavan. And this, these are, it's quite a scientific, explanation that's being given here. There's so much here. And, and here, these are known as the Chaturvyuha, Vasudeva, Sankarsha, and Pradyumna, Aniruddha. They are special expansions of the Lord, for the purpose of Leela. And they have a place in Dwarka, and also within the Vaikuntha planets, they also have a place. And they're a little mysterious to me. I've never fully understood how they play out in their divine service. Maybe someone else wants to say something about that. Oh, Krishna Keshav is raising his hand.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, these places are mostly they are places on Earth in India. However, if I'm not mistaken, aren't these Leelas on Earth? Because the way it's being described in Brahma Samhita is if all these places are completely spiritual places. However, we know a lot of these places are also places in India. But what I'm saying is, isn't it the philosophy that these places are the expansions of what's already in the spiritual world?
I'm not exactly sure what
So
you're referring to here.
for instance, do these islands already exist in in another spiritual world, or is it
You're
the
talking
place on
about
Earth?
You're talking about Sweta Dweep?
Yeah, or whatever the islands it may be. Yeah, or Gokula itself, kind of. Yes, because like Gokula or Vrindavan is the place in the heavenly sky, right above Earth. You know, above the Parya Vyoma or whatever, way up there, right?
Yes, I mean here it seems to me that Gokul is being used synonymously with Goloka, which
Right,
is a little confusing.
right, right.
But as I understand, yes, we are speaking in the plane of the spiritual sky. But
Gotcha.
but but
I
but
thought,
another point is that all of these things, they essentially exist within consciousness, right? And
right,
so when we're hearing about these different ideals, right, these quadruple abode representing the four aims of human life, right, this is it's like this is something that you have to go through within a plane
right.
of consciousness before you can reach the pure consciousness of what is Vrindavan
Part
consciousness.
of the internal journey. Sure, that's what I was
Mm,
thinking. Okay, thanks. It makes sense to me now. Thank you.
okay. And
There are a few questions on the chat. I think there's.
oh, okay. In the chat. Bimala Devi, she's coming from Yoga Maya, Suvasini Didi. Can you answer that?
I'm not too sure actually. Vimala is. I don't know. Can't remember.
I believe she may be an expansion of Yoga Maya, no?
Okay.
Who is a divine servitor of the Lord, managing the Leela there. And she has different expansions which she takes. But she's of the feminine potency and divine servitor of Krishna. That much we can say. But we
You
don't
have
hear
like
so much.
Vimala in Jagannath Puri, right? Vimala
Yes,
Prasad. Vimala Prasad is.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. She has some special seva in Jagannath Puri. So yes. And Zia's asking for a reference that she can pull up. You can go to vedabase.com, or I can share here. This is on vedabase.com. You can find our edition. You can and this is a link here to our Mat edition here. Or if you go to vedabase.com, you can easily find. And it is very similar. But I wasn't quite sure on the question. And I believe it's here in this purport also where it's saying like how this mention of these guards, right? And these in the form of mantras. This is quite extraordinary. They're protecting the area of Goloka. There's no room for illegal immigrants there. Nobody can get in under the radar. Only if your consciousness is at a particular degree of purity will you be able to enter there. So, okay, I think we can go on now. You can. Ananta Krishna, you have your book in front of you. Do you want to read a little from the purport?
Yeah, of course. Sri Radha Kunda and of Raja Mandala as manifest in the earthly.
Wait. Where are you looking?
Page 23.
We're on page 22.
Oh, okay. Wait, I thought we already read this.
No, you're missing a few lines.
Okay.
Jumping ahead.
All the way from the top, or the 8
The
directions? Is that?
purport. We're on the purport.
Oh, okay. Gokula is principally the seat of loving devotion, or prema bhakti, and thus Yamuna, Govardhana, and Sri Radhakund of Raja Mandala, as manifest in the earthly plane, are all present there. Further, the entire majesty of Vaikunta pervades in all directions. All the quadruple plenary expansions, Chatur Vyuha Vilasa, of the Lord are present in their appropriate locations, and from them the unlimited transcendental kingdom, known as Paravyoma Vaikunta, extends infinitely. The emancipation of attending Vaikunta and general religiosity, gain, and desire have their appropriate situation in Gokula, in the original seed form. The Vedas are also present, ever singing the glories of the Lord of Gokula. The 10 spears of dissuasion fan out in the 10 directions to arrest those persons who, without the grace of Krishna, attempt to approach or associate with Goloka through the contemplation. The vainglorious on the paths of meditation and knowledge, come renunciation, yoga dhyana, who attempt to approach Goloka, are thwarted, being pierced by those 10 spears. Nirvana, or self-annihilation, reaches its acme in the plane of Brahman. That plane is only the outer covering of Goloka in the form of those sharp spears.
Okay,
From
maybe
the
you
meaning-
can pause. You can pause there, Nanda.
Okay.
Thank you. So
Yeah, of course.
so we're on a journey, right? And and as I said, this cannot be conceived of as an obstacle course in a sense. And the goal is pure loving service of Shri Radha Krishna and Vrindavan. But along the way, there are many, treacherous distractions, diversions, and some more subtle, some more gross, right? And so here, now I'm understanding why this Chaturvyuha was mentioned specifically, because they're representing the plane of Vaikuntha. These 4 expansions of the Lord, they preside over much of the Vaikuntha planets. And so what does Vaikuntha represent? Vaikuntha represents, as we're told here, the plane of majesty, the plane of awe, reverence, reverential worship of the Lord. Devotion that is based upon respect. And so there's distance, right? So this is outside of the area of Goloka, right? And then also these mundane ideals, mundane religiosity, gain, calm, material gain. They have some seed form. Their origin is in Goloka or Gokul. Everything has its origin there. And then here, what is meant here by contemplation, it's, the English here is a little difficult, right? But what's being referred to is those who are approaching, through the, with emphasis on consciousness or the gyan, right? The approach of knowledge without the mood of dedication, devotion, service. This is what is being referred to by contemplation. So here, the 10 spears of dissuasion means they're trying to take people away. They're arresting people. These are the cards who, without the grace of Krishna, attempt to approach or associate with Goloka through contemplations. This is a little bit of a scary thought, actually, because the approach of, it's one thing if the approach of gyan is focused on other ideals, like general yoga, meditation, right? And generally their goal, their objective is the Brahman, right? The impersonal plane. But then if that same type of mood is then placed upon Krishna as the goal, then that's a little scary, actually, because the two things can be conflated. And by this we mean persons who are attracted to Krishna Lila, but in a theoretical sense, right? It's an exercise of the brain. It's an exercise of the intellect. And there's no real connection there. Right? And that analogy is given by Saraswati Thakur of the bee on the jar of honey, right? That the bee can see the honey, can describe the honey, can talk about the chemical components of the honey, but that bee is not tasting the honey. So in the same way, we may become great scholars and be able to give a very deep, scientific explanation of this or that regarding Krishna and his Leela and his abode and rasas and all these things, but without the mood of dedication, without this, right? The grace of Krishna. This is the whole point. This is it. The grace of Krishna. Without the grace of Krishna. So then this is the real search. How do we invite the grace of the Lord? How do we invite the grace of the Vaishnavas, the true devotees of the Lord? This is the real quest. Now, how do we attain that? That is the question. And so this is mentioned in so many places, and it's been, especially our gurus, we can say in the line of, Sri Rupa Goswami, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, they've emphasized it so much, there's this Nayamatma Pravachane Lalabhyo Namedaya Nabahuda Nabhutena Yame Vaisha Rinute Tena Labhyas Tasyaisya Atma Virinute Tanum Swam. This is famous verse, I believe, in the Upanishads, which is saying that we cannot attain that divine being, through our brain power, our mental power, by our speaking, by our study, by our hearing. But it is simply a matter of who he wants to give himself to, they will have him. That is all. So then how do we attract that? This is the question. And it's not that we're going to impress him by how much we know or how much we can do. There's no question of that. The height of what we can potentially know, what to speak of what we actually know, is still nothing. So it is just like some great person in this world who's on such a higher platform than ourselves. It's not that we can impress them by what we have, but we want to invite their affection. That's our hope. We want to invite their mercy, their grace, their affection upon us. Through that link, it's possible. And through that link, who is nobody can become somebody, right? And Saraswati Thakur, he gives the simple example, the Cinderella story, right? He tells a prince may fall in love with the young woman who's on the street, and she can overnight she can become the queen of the whole land, right? The day before she was on the street, she was nobody. But because she attracted the love of a great prince or a great king, then suddenly everything is hers. So, through that medium of love, so that we are in that situation. So how do we do that? To attract that grace, to attract that affection? By showing I am here for you. I want to serve you. I want to please you. I'm not coming because I want to use you for my lower finite purpose, but I want to be used by your higher purpose. This is the only hope that we have. So if somebody tries to approach Krishna Lila with this mood, that we want to make this an object of our knowledge, an object of our brain, that we will be removed. We'll be arrested. The spiritual arrest, will take place. And we're very fortunate if we don't have that desire in our heart. I was reflecting actually today, because we see sometimes there are persons who are, if you think about Krishna consciousness as a philosophy, as a culture, in so many other ways, it's something quite fascinating, isn't it? But I was reflecting today, that I feel so fortunate that I don't actually have any interest. I genuinely have no interest in all of that. But what's really meaningful to me is the service of a real Vaishnava, having the connection of a real Vaishnava. That's what's meaningful. The philosophy is very wonderful, but disconnected from the line of service, just to sit in the room and study and try to have a perfect understanding of, of all of the knowledge that's been given to us, that doesn't mean anything to me. I feel very fortunate. I don't have that in my heart at all. But to have the connection of a Vaishnava, to have the opportunity to have the grace to invite the grace of a Vaishnava, this is what is meaningful in our lives. And this is the real approach. And Brahma Samhita is telling us that right now. So I've forgotten what vainglorious means. It used to come up in, I think, some old English literature that I read as a teenager, but let's see, maybe Jayadev can say. Excessively proud of oneself or one's achievements, overly vain. Okay, so arrogant. Yeah, so there's a type of arrogance.
I was going to say I could demonstrate the example for you directly.
Oh. So aroha panta, avaroha panta, right? This is what is being referred to here. The aroha panta, the ascending, trying to make progress on the basis of our own strength, self-ascension. But we're not interested in that, and we know there's no real gain in that ultimately. So avaroha panta, the descending line of progress. We are depending upon descending grace from above. This is the line of devotion. So such persons, they are pierced by these spears. Jaidev, you want to add any other comments on what we've read so far, what we've heard so far?
He used this funny one to define vainglory, making a joke.
Sorry, what did you
No,
say?
I don't have it. I only said something because you were about to call me to define the word vainglorious. That's all.
Okay.
And I was just
Unfortunately, your
thinking I
connection
could
isn't
teach.
so good.
Yeah. Anyways, no problem. I have nothing to say.
Oh,
Like in the
Welcome.
article we read, like Russian, where angels fear to tread. So Guru Maharaj says like, it says, he says like, hanker, but don't make that as an object of your experience like that, he says.
Vishaka Didi,
Yeah.
may I say something? Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah, good
please,
point.
Prabhu.
That's why I see Srila Prabhupada always mentions Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, because he is reminding over and over. Srila Guru Maharaj also reminding, he is telling that only Krishna can give Krishna. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people don't understand. It reminds me one story actually. Some sannyasi approached to Guru Maharaj, and Srila Guru Maharaj said, "What is Krishna consciousness?" And what Prabhupada gave, but he couldn't answer. Then Guru Maharaj said, didn't he mention Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead? Even he was sannyasi.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Marie, do you want to continue with the reading? And welcome those of you who have also joined, Radhana Rupini and Sudevi. And
starting at the word from?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, because we were just talking about sharp spears. So, okay. From the meaning of shula or spear is derived trishula or trident. The trident symbolizes the divisions of the triple worldly qualities, rajas, tamas, sattvas, and the threefold aspects of time or past, present, and future. The yogis on the path of eightfold mysticism, or the jnanis or liberationists in the monism of non-differentiative Brahman who rashly approach Goloka, are summarily cut asunder by those tridents which are situated in the 10 directions, and they plunge down to the abyss of hopelessness. Those who approach yeah, cat.
So this is another as I said, it's an obstacle course. So there's so many different ways you can get diverted. So this is another type of diversion. And actually, one thing which we didn't go into, but is mentioned, was it in the verse? The eight perfections, right? So these are the siddhis, right? These are yogic perfections which you can attain through yoga practice. And in fact, here we are, we missed the footnote. So these are the 8 perfections. Anima, Mahi, which as I said, yogis who can attain this. Anima, Mahima, Lagima, Prapti, Prakamya, Ishita, Vashita, Kama Vasaita. Subtleness, relationship with the elements, lightness, attainment. So lightness means, that you can physically become very light, you can walk on water, these types of things. What is meant by attainment, prapti, is that whatever you want at any time, you can acquire it. Srila Sridhar Maharaj actually told this story just to go, let's say this is some light interlude. We're getting kind of heavy here with speeds, with spears and abysses of hopelessness to lighten the mood of it. Some comic relief. Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he told this story of this. There was this incident once when Saraswati Thakur was on a train journey, and he had this one disciple. It was Paramananda, wasn't it? Suvasini Didi. He joined as a young boy, like 10, 12 years old, and he had a special relationship with Saraswati Thakur, like as a father, like that. and he used to stay very close with Saraswati Thakur. So they were on this train ride at one time, and you know, in India, the trains, they stop at the stations, and at every station there's generally a lot of food you can buy. And so they were stopping at one station. The train will stop a few minutes, and everyone has a chance to jump out and buy something. And so Saraswati Thakur asked this boy, "Oh, is there anything you'd like to eat? We can get for you." And he said, "I would," what was it? Maybe it was halava that he said. I don't know if anyone else can remember that story. I think it might have been halava, the sweet, and made with semolina. And Saraswati Thakur, he said, "Oh, I don't think they have any here." And there was another gentleman in their compartment, and he had this yogic power, and he put his hand out of the window, and he materialized, you know, this little pot of this halava, this sweet, you know, and everyone in the compartment was astonished. So anytime, anything that you so desire, you know, you can acquire it. This prapti. Then eternal joy, commands, detachment, and supreme fulfillment. Okay, so going back to our text here. So yes, another type of diversion, the path of yoga. Ananda Krishna Prabhu, you have your hand raised. Is that right?
Yeah. What does relationship with the elements mean exactly?
Oh, in those cities, you know, to be honest, the translation, I mean, you know, let's just put it like this: although I don't know exactly what the source is, the translation. So anyway, sorry, I'm on my own stream here. It's not, I'm not sure. That's my simple answer. And the translation is also not super clear. You know, I would like to see another translation. But you can, it's very, I mean, this is everywhere. You could just Google it. There's Anima, Mahima, Lagima. You type it into Google, it's talked about in so many places. But I, you know, let's remember, this isn't our goal. You know,
Yeah,
we're not interested in these things. But I think it may be like some ability to, like, you know, have some power, mastery over the different elements, you know, water, fire, air, something like that.
Okay.
I would
Thank
think
you.
so. But don't get distracted. Keep your eye on the prize. We want to get to Vrindavan. Don't get lost along the way. We're gonna make it. So here now in this next paragraph, we're hearing about another diversion. I love this. How much longer is this? Okay, I'm gonna read this. I really like this this explanation. I think about it sometimes. Those who approach Goloka through the path of devotion, inspired by opulence and majesty, become enamored by the 8 perfections of anima, etc., and the majestic treasures of Mahapadma. They remain there, charmed by the Vaikuntha aspect, which constitutes the outskirts surrounding Goloka. Those who are even less intelligent are subordinated by the 10 mantra guards that keep watch over the 10 directions, and they've regressed to the 7-fold mundane plane, headed by Borloka. So we are on such a plane here that persons attracted to Vaikuntha are considered unintelligent. You know, this is the plane which we are. We are, you know, we're not there, but the ideal is there. You know? And there's this line of Raghunath Das Goswami, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, where they refer to they're speaking about the different obstacles, similar to this explanation here. And, generally the obstacles that we face are bhukti and mukti, right? Bhukti meaning attraction to mundane enjoyment, and mukti, aspiration for liberation, emancipation, which is ultimately based on selfish interest. These are generally the two tendencies, right? Exploitation, renunciation. We're normally struggling with that, mostly with the tendencies for selfish enjoyment. But then once you become free of that and you're standing wholly on the platform of devotion, there's another obstacle, and that is the reverential approach, right? Being attracted to the majesty of the Lord. And so there's this one line of Bhaktivinoda Thakur where para vyome deye fele, saying if you're attracted to that type of mood of worship, you'll be thrown down to Vaikuntha. You cannot have entrance into Vrindavan, but you'll be hurled down to Vaikuntha. He phrases it like that. Like it is such a terrible thing. So these are the types of problems persons of a higher sphere, they face that, For us, we're just learning to tie our shoelaces. We're just about learning how to do that. Change our diapers, tie our shoelaces. But these are issues on a higher sphere. But I am a little confused here because it seems like these yogic attainments are being well, the word was in my mouth a moment ago, but they're being equated with Vaikuntha. But Suvasini, can you say, or anyone else, maybe Jayadev can say something on that? I'm a little confused by it.
Yeah, I'm also, because the people who are attracted by the Vaikuntha aspect, I don't know whether they still have these kind of thoughts of, the perfection, saint perfections, because that is still a devotional plane, isn't it? The Vaikuntha.
Yes.
They're not thinking about their perfections.
Yeah, it's not clear. It's not clear because normally this is a different category. This is solely something that yogis aspire after. So it's a little confusing. So okay, we'll have to add that to a list for a scholar. What is Bhaktivinoda referring to here? We can't be sure. But let's see if we can continue. I'm sorry, Marie. Do you want to continue? I kind of took over. I get excited
We're
about that
excited.
paragraph.
That's not a problem. Thus, Goloka is practically unknowable and unattainable. There, all the intrinsic forms of the Supreme Lord who propound the dispensations of pure religion for the different ages are ever eager to bestow their grace upon the devotees who alone reach there through pure loving devotion, Shuddha Prema Bhakti. In accordance with their particular hues, those forms of the Lord are surrounded by their appropriate associates, and in Gokula, their abode is Shveta Dvipa. Therefore, Srila Vrindavana Dasa Thakur, the Vyasa of Chaitanya Lila, has described Nabadweep town as bearing the name of Shveta Dvipa. The culmination of Gokula pastimes, Nabadweep pastimes, are eternally present in Shveta Dvipa. Thus, Nabadweep Mandala, Vraja Mandala, and Goloka are one identical, indivisible truth. They have manifested diversity only by dint of their endless aspects in the unlimited variegatedness of divine love. In this respect, there is another hidden truth that is known by the direct grace of Krishna to the great saintly devotees who are imbued with loving devotion. This material world is graded in 14 basic planes. The fruit worker, karmi, grihastas desirous of enjoyment, wander throughout the 3 planes of bhu, bhuva, and sva. Pacified personalities who are indefatigable in the great vow of brahmacharya, austere and absorbed in truthfulness, by engaging in utterly selfless works, move throughout the planes of Maharloka, Janaloka, and Tapaloka, up to Satyaloka. In the upper section of Satyaloka is the abode of Lord Brahma, and above that is the transcendental infinite plane of Vaikuntha, which is the abode of Ksirodakasai Vishnu, who reclines on the ocean of milk. The sannyasi paramahamsas, perfected renunciates, and demons slain by Lord Hari, cross the river of passivity, viraja. That is, they surpass the entire 14 planes of the world and attain to the nirvana of extinction of the soul's individuality by merging in the effulgent plane of Brahman. The devotees who adore the supreme majesty of the Lord, devotees desirous of emancipation, pure devotees, devotees of loving sentiment, devotees absorbed in love, and devotees overwhelmed in love, they all attain a place in Vaikuntha, the transcendental infinite abode of Lord Narayana. Only the devotees who are given to the highest sweetness and charm of the love of Viraja, and who faithfully follow the residence of Viraja, can reach Goloka Dhamma, the divine abode of Goloka. By the inconceivable potency of Krishna, those devotees are delegated different positions according to their rasas or divine serving dispositions. The devotees who faithfully follow the pure devotion of residents of Viraja are situated in Krishna Loka, and the devotees who faithfully follow the pure devotion of the residents of Nabadwip are situated in Gauraloka. These devotees who have equal devotion for both Viraja and Nabadwip attain to the joy of service in both Krishna Loka and Gauraloka. Thus,
Those devotees, sorry, it's an important distinction.
oh yes,
Those.
yeah, the intonation was off a little there. Thus, Sri Jiva Goswami has stated in his holy book, Sri Gopalakampu, Yasya Kalu Lokasya Golokas Tata Gopavasa Rupasya Shvetadvipatya Kananya Shrita Paramasuddhata Sambuddha Svarupasya Tadrisha Jnanamaya Katipaya Matra Prayameya Pratraya Tat Paramata Mata Parama Goloka Parama Dvipa Iti. That supreme plane is called Goloka because it is the abode of cows and cowherds. Being the supreme abode of ecstatic pastimes, it is Krishna's own self. Further, that supremely holy plane is known as Dvipa, White Island, due to a unique quality of its unsullied purity, manifest by its peculiar, inconceivable nature as the seat of certain nectarine experiences of a similarly transcendental, inconceivable form. Both the Supreme Goloka and the Supreme Shvetadvipa forms are inseparably Goloka Dhamma. The underlying purport is that although Krishna enjoys his pastimes in Viraja, he is nonetheless unable to taste the joy of the entirety of rasa or divine ecstasy, and he therefore accepts the heart and halo of Sri Radhika, the female reservoir of his love, and for this purpose, Goloka is manifest eternally as Shvetadvipa.
Can you just pause there, Marie? I'll just see,
That's really
because we're almost out of
interesting.
time. Let me see how much longer. Oh, maybe we should stop there then for today.
No.
No, but no, that last paragraph that I read was,
mhm.
wow.
Yeah, there's a lot here, yeah. And I love how it's kind of like it's just going along at a particular pace. And then in that purport, and then sorry, and then in this paragraph, it goes like way up here. It's like, whoa, whoa. Wasn't expecting that. Either because he cannot taste, he cannot experience the full spectrum of rasa. And it's mentioned in particular 3 rasas, 3 divine sentiment feelings, that Radha experiences. Then he takes her heart, her mood, and appears as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I'll maybe just this is such a beautiful verse. I'll just maybe read this next paragraph. We find this illustrated herein, and this verse, for those who aren't familiar, it's one of 3 principal verses in the introduction of Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the very beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita. One of 3 verses which are describing the reasons for Mahaprabhu's appearance in this world. Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidrisho Vana Yaiva Swadyo Yanad Bhuta Madurima Kidrisho Vamadiya Sokyan Chasya Madanubhavata Kidrisham Veti Lopat Tadbhavadya Samajani Satshigarva Sindhu Hadindu. What is that great glory of Sri Radha's love? What is my extraordinary loving sweetness and charm that Sri Radha enjoys? And what is the joy so what I was mentioning, these 3 rasas, these are the 3 they're being described in this verse. And what is the joy Sri Radha feels by experiencing my sweetness and charm? Yearning to taste these 3 sentiments, the moon, Krishna Chandra, was born from the ocean of the womb of Mother Shachi. Herein is revealed the hidden deep purport of Sri Jiva Goswami. Okay, I think we'll conclude our reading here for today, and next week we can also go through some of these other comments which we just read through. So we will come back and review. There are a few points that we can address here. Does anyone else anyone want? Okay, I'm going to stop the screen share. Is this it here? Okay, did it. And before we close our meeting for today, does anyone want to make any final words? I know will and
What page were
testament.
we on at the end there?
Sorry, what did you say, Prabhu?
What page were we on at the end there?
I've lost my place. Let me see.
Oh, no problem. I think it was like
29,
86, 90.
27, is it? 28?
Oh,
I
okay,
think-
that's early.
29?
Yeah.
Oh, that's early. Okay,
29.
cool. Cool,
29.
that helps.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you so much, Vishaka Didi. Yeah, it was beautiful. I had Brahma Samhita for so long, but never studied. So now I looked up, yeah.
It's a little intimidating.
Yeah.
And in many ways, it is an intimidating text. From the perspective of the fine points of Siddhanta, the conception that are being described, just the English presentation, it's a good opportunity to open our dictionaries, some words you're not familiar with. So I'm going to pick on you, Ananda, because you're 19, okay? I'm making that your homework. All the words in that purport you don't know, go look them up, okay?
I was struggling. I was reading. I was like,
What did you say?
I said I was struggling a bit. I was like,
Yeah, well, I could tell from your reading that you didn't understand the word.
Yeah, I was like,
But you
man,
know,
this is
he,
this is
you know,
hard.
you can get away with it because you're still a teenager, and you dropped out of high school to follow your spiritual path. So this is your school. So we have a responsibility to school you.
Yay! Thank you.
So
Thank you
that's
for
your
schooling
homework,
me.
Ananda. Go look up all those words, okay, please.
Okay.
We love Ananda. And wonderful Giridhari Prabhu also tuned in the last moments, and Vilasani Didi, Ajita Krishna, Roger also tuned in earlier. So we have a beautiful group here today. Well, thank you all for joining and making this meeting possible. And look forward to the next week. Jai Shri Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Sorry, Subhasini Didi, did you want to add any final words before we close?
No, there is nothing. I just want to ask you, you will be here for the next 2 weeks before you go to India. Is that right? I just wanted to make sure that.
Let me see. I'll be here next week for sure. Yeah, and also the following week. Yeah, the next 2 weeks. Yeah, and then many of us will be going to India, so we'll put the meetings on.
We'll take a break.
hold.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Jai Shri Guru Deva Ki Jai, Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, all the assembled devotees, sincere seekers Ki Jai.
Jai.
Hari Nam Sankirtan Ki Jai.
Jai.
Gaur Premanande.
Hari Bol. Didi Ki Jai.
Jai. Thank you for
Jai
your
Suvasini.
association.
Thank you.
Thank you for your association. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for your association.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Dhanyavad.
Thank you, sir.
Dhanavad.
Dhanavad.
Dhanyavad.